What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Sideswipe the Boss, back at it again with another video. So with Arrow coming to an end this year, with Arrow season 8 coming out in October, the final season, final 10 episodes of Arrow, I decided I should go back to where it all began in Arrow season 1. I decided I'm gonna be doing all these reviews on each season of all the Arrowverse shows in chronological order, basically. So yeah, starting with Arrow season 1, Arrow season 2, then Arrow season 3, and basically, yeah, so on and so forth. If you know the order, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if not, just stay tuned for all these videos. It might take like a month or two for me to do all of them, but I hope you guys just stay tuned for all of them. And here we are, starting off with Arrow Season 1. So, Arrow Season 1. Basically, the premise of this is billionaire playboy Oliver Queen gets shipwrecked and is stranded on an island, presumably for 5 years. And he has to survive, and he survives, of course, and comes back to his home, Starling City, with a hunger for justice and vengeance against those who he has deemed have failed this city.
You have failed this city.
So there's quite a few main characters of Arrow Season 1. I'm not going to go over like every single one because that's a lot of them, but I will go over like the main ones. So the main ones are Oliver Queen, John Diggle, Moira Queen, Thea Queen, Felicity Smoak of a Sense, Roy Harper, Malcolm Merlin, Tommy Merlin, Walter Steele, also in a sense, and Laurel Lance. To me, I really feel like the casting directors did very well with their castings for this season. I feel that all the main characters portrayed good amounts of emotion when emotion was needed. They like carry the shows in their own ways. Sometimes they have their standalone episodes, so they carry those as well. And yeah, I just feel like the beginning of the Arrowverse, they cast all these roles very well. So to begin, of course, I will start with Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, or as in this season, he's called the Hood. I really feel that Stephen Amell, he does very good in the role. Like he's he's more than good. He's amazing in the role. He's a very good actor. He portrays a good amount of emotion when needed. He's very intense, very focused as well. He's cool. He plays off the split personalities that he tries to portray as Oliver Queen and the Hood in this season, and I really feel like he did that very well. He has very great chemistry with some of the characters. Well, some of the other actors, he brings them out the best, in a sense. He brings out the best in himself too. Even though he doesn't look like the typical Oliver Queen in the comics, he still brings it to where, he still brings his side of it, and it comes to a point where now, like, I can't unsee this, and only Stephen Amell can play the Green Arrow in my eyes. Next up is John Diggle, or Dig, as Oliver calls him, played by David Ramsey. I also feel that David Ramsey does the best with his character. Him and Stephen Amell have great chemistry when they do scenes together. He also portrays a level of emotion that's very good, especially when like they were talking about Deadshot. That was Floyd Lawton, the guy who supposedly killed his brother, but that's for a later season. But yeah, he portrays a level of emotion that's pretty good. He has some pretty good fight scenes, and Stephen Amell also, he does great fight scenes as well. But yeah, Arrow Season 1 is a standout in fight scenes, but I'll talk about that later in the video. But yeah, David Ramsey plays a good John Diggle. And yeah, that's a good character in Arrow season 1. All right, next we have Moira Queen, played by Susanna Thompson. For me, Moira Queen was one of the controversial characters of Arrow season 1. She was always very unsure of where she stood on like the sides of good and evil. Well, she didn't know it was good or evil at the time, but yeah, she kept flip-flopping between the sides. And I guess in a sense that's because she was trying to protect her family, but for me it's like it really wasn't that hard to like choose a side. I mean, she did come through at the end of the season when she told the public about the undertaking, but for me, Moira Queen wasn't really the best character in Arrow season 1. She improved in season 2. I'll give her that. But for Arrow season 1, she wasn't really the best character. Next we have Thea Queen, played by Willa Holland. And I did not like Thea this season at all. Or in season 2, but mainly in season 1. Because she was annoying, like super annoying. Starting even from the first episode when Oliver came back, she was so judgmental. She was acting like a spoiled brat. I mean, I know that's what she is, but still, it was annoying. She was always complaining about something, always tying it back to her. Like, especially when she spoiled a lot too. Well, not spoiled, but she like brought out a lot of secrets that didn't need to be brought out. I guess her character, when she met Roy, I guess that's where her rise started to come in, because she finally had like something to do other than complain and stuff. But other than that, yeah, Thea Queen was not very well written in season 1.
Let's bounce.
I'll touch on her quickly because she didn't have a super big role in Arrow season 1, and I'm glad because she was tolerable. But Felicity Smoak, played by Emily Bett Rickards, she was tolerable in Arrow season 1. She didn't appear that much until like the back half of the season, after she found out that Oliver was the Green Arrow. Well, the Hood. I don't know why I keep saying Green Arrow. The Hood. And yeah, she just did her tech stuff, and you know, it's tolerable. She had the occasional little spark of resistance whenever they brought up Walter and something like that. But yeah, she was tolerable this season and a pretty decent character. I'm sad that her character took a nosedive after this season, though.
I can't believe that you have a child that you didn't tell me about. I care that you lied to me just now.
Shut the fuck up, bitch!
Also, in a sense, we have Colin Salman, I think that's how you say his name, who's played Walter Steele, Moira's new husband, of a sense. Just touching on him really quickly, because he also wasn't that big part of a season, but he was a good character. He posed a decent relationship with Moira Queen. His investigations into the book that Oliver had about the names of the list, and his investigation about the undertaking, that was pretty cool. So yeah, he was overall a good character, and I was kind of sad to see him leave when he did. Next up, we have Roy Harper, played by Colton Haynes. I consider him a main character because he had a bigger impact than I thought he would in the season. But he didn't show up till episode 12 or 13, I believe. One of those two. But yeah, he's a pretty good character in season 1. He has a little storyline with Thea Queen, which kind of makes her a little bit of a better character in season 1. Not by much, though. But yeah, he was cool. I'm really glad they introduced him right away into the fold of things. You know, Roy Harper in the comics is Arsenal, Red Arrow, Speedy, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, he's a pretty decent character this season. Yeah, he doesn't do a lot, but I guess his acting, Colton's acting covers up the fact that his character doesn't do that much in season 1. But yeah, overall, I like Roy Harper, and his character only gets better from here on out. Next up, we have Tommy Merlin, played by Colin Donnell. And Tommy is a great character. He's I think he'd be like my second or third favorite character of the season, because Colin Donnell is just a very good actor. He plays off of Stephen Amell very well. Yeah, he does great in the acting. His emotional scenes are great. I didn't like his relationship with Laurel. It was weird. It was a weird turn of the season. And yeah, that little trifecta with him, Oliver, and Laurel, it was just a weird situation for me. But other than that, he was a very good character. He had great emotional scenes. His death scene was probably one of the most emotional death scenes in the entire Arrowverse. And I bet I have like a million fans who could back me on that. But yeah, Tommy Merlin is very missed. He had a presence in the show that was very, very clear. And yeah, now it's like whenever you like watch some like bad Arrow seasons, like season 4, you clearly can see that that part of the show is missing, and that's because of what Colin Donnell brought to the table. Next up, we have Katie Cassidy, who plays Laurel Lance. Well, Diana Laurel Lance, however you want to say it. She was a very controversial character for me. Same as Moira. Well, not same as like in how her role is in the season, but same as Moira. Like, she's very controversial to me. She's pretty. Katie Cassidy plays her well. But yeah, like I said, that little trifecta thing, relationship struggles between Oliver, Tommy, and her, it was weird. That's really the only thing she did this season, other than some stuff at that. I think that's the whatever place she worked at. And then her lawyer side, she did a little bit of that. Yeah, she didn't get to do a lot this season. But yeah, she was a decent character. She had a decent romance with Oliver, and she becomes a better character in the future, but after season 2. But I'll get to that in another video. And finally, topping off the main characters list is Malcolm Merlin, played by John Barrowman. Malcolm Merlin was the main villain of the season, the Dark Archer, and he was a great main villain. I guess in like the first like 8 episodes of season 1, it was like Oliver was like God or something. He was very unstoppable. He did take like 1 or 2 beatings, but he defeated the villains like right after that, and he was like pretty unstoppable. But when Malcolm Merlin showed up as the Dark Archer, he posed a very big threat to Oliver. His acting, John Barrowman does he does a great job at acting in this role. They have some great fight scenes. He has a great rivalry with Oliver, not just like with being archers and stuff. Also, morally, their rivalry is great. Yeah, he has some great emotional scenes. One of the best emotional scenes he's had in the entire Arrowverse was in season 1, when he was talking about they deserve to die scene.
So you killed them all?
Yes! They deserve to die! All of them! The way she died!
That was one of the best emotional scenes that John Barrowman has done as Malcolm Merlin. And yeah, he is a great villain overall. His costume's great. And yeah, I'm sad that his character kind of took a nosedive after this season. I guess I can mention a few more characters that we have in there. We got Paul Blackthorne, who plays Detective Colin Lance. He was pretty good in the season. He had a great rivalry with Oliver Queen. Rivalry. I don't know why I can't say that word. Yeah, but with Oliver Queen he was mad about Sarah, and then trying to prove that he was the Arrow at first, and then him just trying to work out of that anger against Oliver to ultimately having the respect for him. And yeah, that was his storyline of the season. That was a pretty good storyline. He also has some emotional scenes with Oliver and Laurel. So yeah, that was a pretty good. Now I know it took a little while to get through those characters, but I had to just say their full names and stuff, and also who plays them, and give some more broader details. It'll be quicker in later videos, but since this is why I'm starting out, this is where I'm starting out. I just had to do that. But other than acting, the fight scenes were really great in this season. We typically don't see that in a grounded superhero TV show. It's not, especially not in Smallville, since Smallville wasn't really that grounded. So I mean, when I say grounded, I mean super powerless, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, they had some pretty great fight scenes. The fight choreographer, he did very good this season. Yeah, Arrow stands out with his fight scenes, and this is peak Arrowness in a sense. The costumes there weren't that many costumes, but the costumes were good. I liked the hood suits. I like the Dark Archer suits. I don't think there were that many other suits left in the season. Yeah, there wasn't that many suits in the season. The villains of the week, they typically just had their regular clothes on. Huntress's suit, hers was pretty good. But yeah, the main two costumes, the hero and the main villain, their costumes were great. So that's all that matters. Speaking of villains, the villains of the week, they were pretty good actually this season. Some of them had some good storylines, like Huntress. I liked the Count a lot. The little Deathshot story was good. I guess a little bit with the Triad as well. That was good. And yeah, that they just kind of enhanced the season to make it more interesting. The overall storyline of the season was pretty good. It was actually pretty great, actually, with Oliver trying to figure out. Well, Oliver going through his father's list and then finding out it was a fake and it was a lie, and all that leads to the undertaking. That was pretty good. Some of the side stories, they're pretty short, and they can be ignored at a point as they go away. I guess my main gripe with the season was the little Oliver, Tommy, Laurel relationship struggles. But yeah, it didn't take a lot from this season. Maybe only a little bit, but not to a point where it was super bad at everything. And finally, I can't do an Arrow review without talking about the flashbacks. The flashbacks are pretty unique. Well, not unique in they haven't been done before, but unique to Arrow, and because Arrow does it every episode for 5 seasons. The flashbacks basically just follow Oliver's time on the island or wherever he was at for between the 5 years he was away from Starling City. And Arrow season 1's flashbacks, they were pretty good. Edward Fires, he was a pretty good villain for the flashbacks. I liked Yao Fei, his introduction, teaching Oliver how to shoot a bow. And Shadow, I guess, also teaching him how to shoot a bow. Yeah, him meeting Slade Wilson, that was probably my favorite part of the flashbacks. The connection and bond between Oliver and Slade growing. Slade Wilson, of course, Deathstroke in the future, played by Manu Bennett. Yeah, he does great in the role. He's amazing in the role, actually. Yeah, I just like that bond. I like those fight scenes as well. And yeah, Arrow Season 1's flashbacks were a standout of Arrow Season 1. So basically, in conclusion, Arrow Season 1 is the perfect way to kick off the Arrowverse. In a combination with great actors and actresses with great acting, great fight scenes, an amazing storyline, some great flashbacks. Arrow Season 1 is really one of the best seasons of the Arrowverse to date. And except disregarding the few little gripes I have with this season, Arrow Season 1 is, it's really great. And it deserves to be at towards the top of all the Arrowverse seasons. And so I usually do stars for my rankings, but I guess I could do the numbers for TV shows and then the stars for movies. So for Arrow Season 1, I will give it a 9.5 out of 10, which is a very, very high thing. The only reason I don't give it a 10 is because my small gripes with the seasons. Well, with the season, it adds up just a little bit, but not to where it makes it any less significant. So yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for Arrow Season 1. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to my first little TV show review. And I hope you guys stay for the next episode, which it will be Arrow Season 2. Leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe for more of my videos. Peace out, y'all. I'm just getting started. I've been making